Hi, this is Cscw with the US stock highlights here on Share Talk for Sunday, the 27th of December, Christmas holiday edition. Starting off with American Virtual Cloud, where we've got this nice break of the June resistance line there running through $6. And given where the shares are at the moment, there's a reasonable risk-reward set up for a top of June trend channel target as high as $14 over the next 1 to 2 months. Obviously, at this stage, anybody back below the 50-day moving average around $4.80, really killing the bull argument. But ideally, the shares don't even break back below $6, which gives a reasonable setup on a technical basis. Next up, one of the charts of 2020 to date, at least, Blnk charging. Brilliant vertical climb for the shares since last month, and looks like there's not much sign of them slowing down either. Last swing low there around $42, and while we're above that, looking for a 1 to 2 month target as high as $100, which is the top of that July rising trend channel. At this stage, only well below that old peak there from the end of November at $24, really delaying, or $25 in fact, really delaying the upside scenario. But ideally for near-term traders, $42 holds, and we head higher from there. Stock which is, I think, not so common, has not been so common on this sweep as Blnk charging, is Color Star Technology. Here we've got basically a new situation starting out. We've got that neckline resistance that was broken at the end of the week around the 62 cents level, and while we're above that, looking for a top of September trend channel target as high as $91, hopefully by the end of next month. The attraction here is the gap through resistance, and holding above that, a very strong sign that there's decent momentum behind Color Star at the moment. Another stock to focus on in terms of the bullish argument at the moment is Cleveland Biotech, if I can get the right Biolabs, rather, the right name and the right code. Here we've broken recent resistance around $3.57 in the beginning of November, and then later that month around $3.50, so above $3.50 on an end of day close basis, looking for a top of January trend channel target as high as $5.70, hopefully by the end of February. Stock which is looking equally encouraging at the moment is Endo International. Quite, in fact, we've had this latest trend line break from the end of October. That line broken around $5.80, and while we're above that on an end of day close basis, looking towards the top of the late July trend channel, currently promising a target as high as $8.70, hopefully by the end of next month. But the attraction there, obviously, the relatively attractive or relatively helpful risk-reward ratio in terms of where the shares could end up. On to a stock which is also very much in bull territory at the moment, Global Corporation. Here the reason for the excitement is basically the weekly close for the stock back above $2.45. That was the peak at the beginning of the month, and while we're above that on an end of day close basis, looking towards as high as a May resistance line projection up to $5, hopefully as soon as the end of January. So let's see how that goes. The gap higher last week off recent support towards the $1.60 level, another very strong plus point for Global at the moment. Next stock is one which has received a lot of attention here and continues to merit it. We've actually hit the top of that rising trend channel from the end of June at around the $4.25 level intraday on a Thursday, and came back from that, but an end of day close above $4.25 could open up Gevo for a new leg to the upside up to that July resistance line projection as high as $7, hopefully as soon as the end of February, perhaps even the end of January. New stock for us today is Good Times Restaurants, which given its business model in the current state of the world doesn't sound like a great great place to be in, but at least in terms of the charting and the price action, we're already back in recovery mode, breaking the resistance there from back in August to $2.20, while we're above that on an end-of-day close basis, looking for the top of a rising September 2019 price channel as high as $5.20, hopefully by the end of February. So let's see if that defies the fundamental odds, let's say, for the stock. Harvest Capital is next, and here we've got this, we had this big gap to the upside for the shares, so makes it noteworthy. Floor of the gap there at around $5, around the $6 level, so above that looking bullish, while there's no end-of-day close back below that. Ideally, there'd be no break back below below the intraday support of Thursday at $6.80, but that may be too much to ask, so risking down to the $6 area in order to project as high as the top of the March trend channel, currently pointing up to the $11 area. If you're cautious on the shares, maybe you wait for an end-of-day close through the initial December resistance at $7.53. Next situation is one which is like many of the stocks here, an encouraging one, an encouraging position. Here we can see that Nltx Therapeutics is has been able to spike through that late June resistance line at $13.30, and while we're above that on an end-of-day close basis, looking towards the top of the rising December 2019 price channel, currently promising a target as high as $22.50, hopefully by the end of February. This stage early really back well below the $12 level and the floor of the channel from last year, really delaying the upside scenario. Stock which I initially missed but managed to rescue for this particular sweep is Prpl Innovation. Here we've got a nice trend line break again, short resistance line there broken around the $30.30 level, and while we're above that, looking towards the December resistance line projection as high as $60, hopefully as soon as the end of February. So looks like a decent setup there with this consolidation for October to December at and above former August resistance, just below the $30 level. One of the highlights of the year, I suppose, in terms of both fundamentals and the technicals, has been QuantumScape. Massive mover over the last month or two. You can see the gaps to the upside that we've had. Latest gap through the $100 area, so while we're above that, looking for a top of September price channel target as high as $2.10, hopefully over the next 2 to 3 months. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of shuffling around and trying to work out exactly where the stop loss and money management point should be, but around, at least we've got the round figure of $100, and above that up to $210 hopefully, but trying to get more color on that as the weeks go by. Just 2 stocks to go now. This extended sweep. First is RMG acquisition, and the reason for inclusion here really is the QuantumScape type move that we've had, very similar to the previous stock. Probably got to use the low intraday low of the last session, 32.74, as the stop loss here, as we try and work out how much higher the shares could go. Best case scenario here over the next 1 to 2 months is up to the top of the September rising trend channel at $60, at least while we hold above the low $30 area, low $30s area. Finishing off where we've got a stock which is rather less wild, let's say, but Wide Point Corporation. The reason for inclusion here is that we've managed to find extended support at that old broken resistance line from June. That was running around the, let's call it the $9 area. Recent support there towards $9.85 on the share. So let's say that while we're above the $9 area, looking for the top of the rising trend channel from December last year, heading up towards the $15 area, hopefully by the end of February. If you're cautious on the shares, maybe you wait for a break of recent resistance at $10.97. But as I said, while we're above the $9 area, looking for the upside to re-establish itself after that spike retreat that we had at the beginning of the month. That's it for me today. More updates during the week.